It's time to step inside the Octagon with your host, Ike Feldman.
What's up, fight fans? What's up, combat sports community? What's up, Strong Islanders? Hope you guys are doing well in the holiday season, New Year's. Hope you guys are starting the wheels rolling towards your 2025 goals, or you're continuing from the previous years. And if you're continuing from the previous years, like our next guest, who just has his sights set to push his potential and be the best version of himself inside the cage, outside the cage, our next guest, my main man, Davasia Misir. Hope you're doing well, brother. This has been a long time coming. I appreciate your energy. I'll always describe the guest to my wife, who comes over to our house, the studio, and I'll be like, Dave is such a sweetheart of a human being. I rode the train back with him from MSG. Not those strippers that you always think right? But Dave is the man. Got to meet his mother, and I assume mentor and hero, because it's the same for me. Shout outs to moms and women in general. They do, no offense, giving birth is harder than fighting. After all that being said, how you doing, brother?
Good, man. Good. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the invite
pleasure.
and the hospitality, everything.
My pleasure.
Really awesome.
How did we get to this point? Why did you step into Longo's MMA gym, formerly LAW MMA? Why are you doing this to yourself? George St. Pierre says we're all a little crazy to get in there, but you seem like such a level-headed, smooth-talking, easygoing guy. But yet, on fight night, you're there to dominate, there to win against the best of the best in the amateur rankings.
Yeah, I think it goes back to your little intro there just now about being the best version of myself and pushing my potential. I think that's really what I strive to do when it comes to fighting. When I first started training at Longo's, before it used to be Law, I really just wanted to learn a little bit more about the sport. I was watching a little bit. I kind of got into it back in like 2018, 2019. I was like, all right, there's a gym near me. Why don't I just check it out? I got started. I started training. No expectations, not like, oh man, I'm gonna go in there and just start fighting immediately. I was like, let me actually learn how to do this the right way. And I did. Took a couple of years, probably like 2 or 3 years, and then one day Steve, Steve, the manager at the gym, he pulled me to the side. He's like, hey man, you're looking really technical, you're looking good, are you interested in competing?
Wow.
And then deep down I was like, all right, this is my moment. I was like, nah, this is what I kind of wanted it, but I didn't ever spoke it out into existence. I was like, let me just work hard and see, if it pays off. And I guess somebody noticed, and yeah, it's been like that ever since.
Your body did the talking for you.
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing with your fist, your grappling, your kicks, your striking, your presence, your attendance, was doing the talking. When I first met you and saw you compete, I'm like, okay, he's a weekend warrior. But then when I see you compete at the Garden, I'm like, dude, people would look at you as like a 5-star recruit because of not necessarily that you're doing backflips like Michael Chandler off the top of the cage after victory, but dude, the work ethic is there. You can't teach that. Where does that come from? I can guess, but I would like for you to say it.
I think that came from a little bit of trial and error, finding something that I could work towards, something that I cared about, a good combination of things. But I think just going back to a couple of years ago, just I guess my childhood and experiences there, learned how to be a little more resilient, learned how to work hard without seeing the immediate result.
Wow.
Working towards something that maybe isn't tangible yet, but it'll come eventually.
Let's get this out of the way, and I don't mean to sound disrespectful, but that self-belief and that faith and trust in the process. Are you a big religion guy? Are you a big spiritual guy?
Actually, growing up, my family was pretty religious. We're Hindus from Guyana. So in Guyana, that's there's 2 big religions, 3
Great
big
soccer
religions.
team?
Kind of. They're okay.
Okay.
I think they've done okay recently.
Okay.
Yeah, they might have been in the Olympics for a round.
Okay.
Yeah. The more cricket though. Guyana's more cricket.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense with that right hand though.
Yeah. I actually was never good at cricket. Yeah, so grew up religious. My dad was actually like the Hindu equivalent of a priest growing up. So
What?
yeah. So I kind of went the other. I didn't go the other direction. I guess I'll say I kind of have just. I keep my faith with me. I trust in God. I believe in God. Just haven't really been in touch with that spiritual side as much recently, I'd say.
Fighting, I've noticed, is probably the most spiritual thing. Voluntary thing. Obviously, there's a spiritual aspect to war, whether it's the Crusades, whether it's in the Middle East. But I think fighting is the closest sanctioned thing that we could get to a war. I hope that doesn't sound too brass or out of left field, but you hear so many times, I know the cliche, I'm going to war, I got to prepare for war. But I'm talking more about there's a date. There's a date that you got to, quote unquote, deploy or enter the cage, enter the ring, and it's you against the other man. Yeah. And there's no, I think it's, what do you tap into then? Like, how is it? Do you kind of resist it because of your father and the rebellious? And I've resisted my father, man. He's a pain in the ass, and it's like not by my doing, by his own doing.
Right.
But do you tap into it at all, or what do you tap into? Because I believe this is gonna sound crazy, but fighting is very spiritual.
Yeah. No, it is. It is. I'd say it's maybe dependent more on the fight. Maybe during the camp, there might be days where I need to push myself a little harder with maybe some not so positive self-talk. Maybe it'll have to be like, hey, in regards to maybe, like prove them wrong or think about what they might be thinking if you don't do this. I try not to tap too much into that nowadays. I try to be a little bit more, I guess, intentional with the way that I use that energy, so to speak. But when it comes to the actual fights, I think I maybe have a little bit of a chip on my shoulder about I need to prove myself. I need to make sure I do this the right way. I want to do this most of all for myself. But there's also that little bit of, all right, I need to prove something to somebody or whoever it is out there. Trying to move away from that and more just dial it into myself and less on the external.
I understand. The worst I've done in competition is when I go in there with the chip on my shoulder, anger. And so a lot of people lean on that anger. Yeah. You even see it at the top where it's like, I don't know, Conor McGregor, if somebody said something in a comment that triggers him, oh, yeah, you don't think I can come back? Like that. Right. That's still training to with the chip on your shoulder. How so your approach is to, I don't know, what can you explain it better? Your daily approach to training. Is it workmanlike? Is it lunch pail? Do you put your whatever happened at work, you step in the gym, it's behind you? How do you just always bring it as much as you can? Because everybody's tired, but how do you bring it each and every day?
Yeah, I would say having the discipline to just know, like, this is what I need to do for today. Show up, if it's Monday, I'm like, all right, there's wrestling at 6, I need to get there for 6. Let's say I'm a few minutes late because whatever work was running late, I'll make sure that I still get there. It doesn't matter what happens, I still have to get to training. And knowing that, like, this is important for me to make it to the fight and do my very best. And then just, again, applying that to every single day. Like, whatever happened yesterday, whether it was a win or a loss, doesn't matter right now. I need to do the very best I can do today and apply that the next day and the next day and the next day. Because you can have a great day and then think that you can take it easy. But in reality, that doesn't apply to the next day. Yesterday, I could have maybe took a really bad, I don't know, something bad happened at work, got reprimanded for something, or maybe I made a mistake. It happened, but today's a new day and I still have to do the very best I can do today. And that applies again to fighting, to work, to life in general, I'd say.
I feel the world needs more thinkers like you because so many times things snowball. Yeah. And I don't think it has to go as far as depression, but I heard the number one reason for patience in therapy? Take a guess.
Aside from depression?
It's probably all lumped together, but the specific, I'd say, pinpoint reason why there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Road rage.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Road rage, not roid rage, Montalvo. We all know you're on something. I'm just kidding, Justin. I'm just kidding.
Ike said it. I don't condone that message at all.
Don't worry. I don't think he can find where the podcast is. I'm just kidding, Justin. If you do find this, I'm fucked. But yeah, and to me, it's not just the road rage. It's like that person may be pissed off from the day before, pissed off from work, and somebody and Dino, do you know Dino from Sarah's? Super smooth guy, cool guy, like yourself. But anyway, he was.
No, I'm not. I don't think I recall that.
He was had the pleasure of chatting with him, and he said, "This guy cut me off. I was so pissed." He's like, "I started learning martial arts a little." He's a black belt now. Yeah. Nasty. Super humble too, but he's like, I'm gonna find this guy. I'm gonna make him pull over. He's pissing me off. And then when they got to an even point, maybe a red light or something, the guy goes, "Hey, my bad, man. I'm sorry." And he was like he was like deflated, like, why was I about to rage out against this person? And the point is that can be applied to everything. Like, your boss screams at you. Are you gonna go then be an asshole teammate at sparring night? And you're just going in there. Somebody's like, flow, and you're like, yeah, flow. Let's flow. Like, and your flow is now a 7 out of 10, and we're ready for a 3 out of 4.
Right.
That affects all your relationships. So it seems like you have a good job. You do a great job at not letting things get too far away from you, like a kite. Like you can reel it in. Is that? I believe the smartest people, I haven't heard this from anywhere, but they're in control of what they can control the most in life. They can understand things that they can't control, but they try their hardest to control things that they can't. And that's the way people see them. That's the way they work. That's the way they apply themselves in relationships. Is that fair to say that you like to be like, I don't know, like, I hate throwing around OCD, but like,
I think I try my best to be, regimented and
regimented.
make sure everything's
Great
good.
word. Thank you, Dave.
No worries. But again, I'm a human being. I'm gonna have my flaws. I'm not always gonna be able to keep everything under control all the time. And there's things that do get away from me, or things that I might let affect me when they shouldn't.
Well, we're human.
Yeah, and it's always good to know when that happens. Like, all right, how do I prevent that from happening again?
So you do like a reflection?
Oh, yeah. I like to reflect on things as much as possible, even, well, when it comes to fighting, as much, recording the sparring sessions, go back and look at it objectively, not just looking for mistakes all the time, also looking for maybe some things I did well. But again, not tooting my own horn, making sure that I'm looking at it in a way that is conducive to a better performance on fight night, Maybe I did well with this one technique, but then my hand came back a little too low, or I got caught doing something, or didn't do the right defense on the cage to get off of the cage. Maybe somebody's trying to take me down. Just looking at everything in a way that is, I would say, more geared towards self-improvement and improving, and not just a way to shit on myself or not.
I think there's 3 types of fighters. I think there's the artist, Anderson Silva. I think there's the scientist, GSP, and then there's a fighter who can combine it. The regimented style seems very scientific, and like you calculate, okay, that was good, that was bad, reset, okay, let's roll with that. But then when you're in there, it's like it's muscle memory, it's instinct, it's let it go. That's where the artistry is on display. What would you say you lean more towards, the scientific approach, the artist approach, or a mixture of both?
That's a good question. I don't know if I've ever really have put a label on it. I would say definitely the workman's approach of work, putting in the work and then just getting in there and you let it flow. I like to think that I sometimes will think while I'm in there, but I think that sometimes it kind of just flows. And then there's other times where maybe I'll get caught up in a brawl or something, and then Less cerebral, more just like
Really?
yeah.
Amazing.
That doesn't happen as much though, but it does happen.
It's cool that it's in there though.
Yeah.
Like you can lean on that.
Yeah.
So this is a tough question about your last fight. Does the loss fuel you to train harder, be smarter, be better?
100%.
Because it seems like you are very regimented, where it's like you can't just be like, it's a loss, I get it, the next one. You have to be like, XYZ, ABC, I will these fields. Like, are you specifically?
Yeah.
Like, I got beat in the jiu-jitsu tournament because I wasn't strong enough. So now I've just been eating hamburgers and cheesecake and lifting hard, and that's as scientific as I get. Just just trying to bulk up, gain some weight.
Yeah.
What has it been like, man? We're about 2 weeks.
3 weeks out.
3 weeks out
from today. Yeah.
So what is the last 5 to 8? Whenever you got the call, what has that been like? Your mindset approach. Obviously, you've been fiending from that night. What was it? October 4th?
October 4th, yeah.
Of course you knew. Of course you knew. Yeah. You're like, you could probably tell me the timestamp when it was.
Yeah, 7:21 p.m.
It was. It definitely was. Don't let him fool you. So October 5th, you're thinking about it.
Yeah, I definitely took we'll say I took half a day to just be like, all right, that sucks that I lost, But then it was like, okay, what do I need to do to not let that happen again? Obviously, he, had the pedigree, the wrestling pedigree, and I knew that when I took the fight, so I was working on that throughout the entire camp. And even though, it wasn't a success in terms of winning on the scorecards or having a dominant performance, I think that going into that fight, I always trained my grappling because started more as a striker. You didn't start, with a base at all. So I always knew that that's something that always has to be worked on, always, always, always. So whatever I learned in that camp, whatever I practiced, it carries into the next fight and the fight after that and the overall span of the next few fights because I'm building up that skill set. Again, I didn't just brush it off as, I'm still working and building and it's okay that I lost the fight. Nobody wants to lose. But I think I went and looked back at what I was practicing and then how it applied in the fight. And I was like, okay, I didn't, hip in hard enough here. I didn't use the whizzer the way I should have used it. Or maybe I could have pressured a little more when I had him up against the ropes and I didn't. So things like that, I look at what I could have done better. And then I just discard what isn't helpful, what isn't useful, and just take it with me to the next one.
And have you felt that? This is like asking you about your outer body experience. Have you come back from a fight, win or loss? Because even if you win, you probably still want to win better.
100%,
Have you come back from a previous fight into the next fight and you get presented the same opportunity and you hit the gas there, or you have them against the ropes, or you do hip in, get the knee in, and do you feel it in the moment, or is it just like, I've trained this?
I think it's probably more like, all right, I drilled this, because I knew that I messed up doing this thing the last time. I'm going to make sure I drill it for the next camp, and then it comes out in the fight, I'd say. I don't know if I get a deja vu moment,
right?
But I will say that it feels good to have the trigger, It's like, okay, go,
And looking back at the previous fight, you're very modest. It doesn't seem like you're the excuse type, because otherwise you wouldn't be sitting here with me. I hate to be the excuse type. If I catch myself, I'm like, that was excuse. That's a little weakness that's coming out. You got to keep it down. But you're modest, so I'll speak on your behalf. Guys, the opponent he faced, boxer, state champion.
Yeah, D1 wrestler, yeah.
D1 wrestler, a high school state champion, and a student of the game. And that's the type of caliber that I imagine wakes you up out of bed.
Yep.
So is there some part of you I think his name is Justin?
Yeah, Justin Lopez, yeah.
And he knows his address, where he lives, his social, his blood type. I've been watching too many conspiracy movies. You want that fight back? No,
I would love to down the line, yeah, for sure, man.
You're excited to see how your growth versus his growth is going?
Man. Yeah, and it's funny you say that. I think that throughout the past few fights that I've had, I've never had like an easy, or a layup opponent. I feel like every opponent has been a really good test of.
You would like it that way,
100%. 100%. I think that's what the amateur career is for, right? It's testing yourself and seeing how great you can be, and how well you can handle different situations, so that when you get to the next level, you've seen a wide variety of things, different looks, different fields, different rounds. Even my second MMA fight was against this kid Arbin Loga, who is he's like 5-0 right now. He's
was he
champion.
Chechnyan or Dagestani?
No, he's actually from Jersey. Yeah, Jersey state champ. Yeah, I was. His
hey,
first
I will smash you.
He's good. But in that fight, I didn't go in there thinking, oh shit, this kid's a state champ. And he's
also
wrestler.
a state champ.
Yeah. I didn't go in there thinking,
jeez,
oh,
bro.
Man.
Does Lou like you? Do you owe him money?
Well, I think that when I fought Arbin, that was for flex, but still.
Yeah. You all the promoters.
Yeah, just
put the hit out on Dave.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I must have bumped into somebody on the sidewalk and tripped him up by accident.
It's the same thing with Justin. Like I've been following Justin Montalvo's career extremely closely, and like it's never a gimme, a walkover fight. Like a guy who steps in on quote-unquote short notice had a fight in a week or two later than the fight that he had and was training with somebody on the card and was like a beast. And I'm like talking to him or his father, and I'm like, I was like, people are going to look at that a certain way, but I was like, that opponent was no joke. And he's facing UFC-ready guys all the time.
Yeah. And
just overcoming adversity.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
I think I know where you stand on the whole God talk, but do you believe that those that can be tested will? Because it seems like, bro, you're not getting any layup. You got to, seems like, go through obstacle after obstacle, and it's like you're constantly swimming. You're not treading water. You're showing.
Well, I think that's the only way you can go is just through, right? You can't let yourself get dragged down by circumstance. You got to make your own path, and So, like, going back to what I was saying about facing, tough opponents, if they've got pedigree or they don't, I'm always going to be like, I at least believe in myself to know that, hey, I can do this. I can find a way to win.
Do you have any military background, military family members?
No. My dad ran the house like it was the military.
That makes sense. Was he?
No. He he's pretty blue collar actually. He grew up on a farm in Guyana. Like one of 10 siblings.
So it had to be everybody had their role.
Yeah.
Because your personality, maybe I'm saying, or style of work, doesn't just come from thin air. Like, dude, you cross your T's, you dot your I's.
I try to. It doesn't always come out, clean, but
I like you more and more the more I talk with you, and I respect you.
Thanks,
most
man.
importantly,
I appreciate
more and
that.
more.
Thank
And
you.
it's, man, I think the future is bright for you. Is it hard to think about the future? Do you just look at the carrot and just glimpse at it, or do you actually visualize and wake up in the middle of the night and you're in big MSG? Because shout outs, he was in MSG, but you're all of a sudden looking up and you're like bright lights and you're like, holy shit! Like, do you type of visualization or not goals, but do you look ahead?
Yeah.
Not so much.
I think everybody kind of wants to peek and see or visualize themselves.
Because people can trip up.
Yeah, 100%.
But I feel like you're a second by second guy.
Yeah, I think I do both. I think that there's the big picture and knowing that I want to be a certain person in a certain place and make sure that I've achieved enough and done what I said I was going to do. But at the same time, I think that if you get too caught up in the expectation of that I should have done this or I should do this, and then let's say you fall short a little bit in your day-to-day, then it's like a snowball effect of, or at least personally for me, it's like I need to make sure that I'm doing what I need to do. Again, dotting my I's, crossing my T's, and that'll pay off. That day in, day out stuff is what matters. And that's the way that you can see yourself at least trying to achieve, whatever it is in the future you want to achieve.
What advice would you give to a fighter, a combat sports athlete who's a few steps behind you?
And I don't know if I'm qualified to give advice, but I guess to anybody, yeah, just find what's working. Be objective. If sometimes you lose in fighting or life, and there's a lesson there to be learned. And if you learn your lesson, then you move forward. You take what was wrong, maybe whatever mistakes you made, and you apply it and make sure it doesn't happen again the best way you can. And then sometimes you do lose, and then it has nothing to do with a lesson, and you just kind of have to take it on the chin and just keep moving forward. But yeah, just moving forward, being objective, and looking at it in a way that is constructive as well.
Well said. We got the modest part about you not being qualified, and then you just deliver a Morgan Freeman beautiful answer. Of course, everybody knows this, right? With the voice.
The voice, yeah.
At 12 or 13, did you wake up?
It was like 13.
Mom.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. It was a little more squeaky, and then it leveled out. Yeah.
Amazing. And we could cut this out if you are uncomfortable answering this.
All good, man.
What role does your mom play in your life? In your fight career?
Yeah, my mom. I mean, she's. I wouldn't say that we had like a super close relationship growing up or anything. It was more of both my parents. They would work full time, and then growing up, grew up pretty. I'd say like regular middle class, like not run of the mill. Nothing too crazy. But my mom, she was working all the time. Dad was also working all the time, and the home situation wasn't always great, coming from my dad's side. So I think that sort of played a part in the way my relationship with both my parents was. It was a little more just like mom and dad out here, kids over here, and not super close to either of them, to be honest with you. Now as an adult, I think I've become a little closer to my mom now that, out of that situation, out of whatever was going on there.
Who'd you lean on in your teenage years? Very formidable years. Was it friends? Was it sports?
Yeah, it was mostly friends. It was just not being home as much as possible.
Were you a delinquent?
No. I was a good boy for the most part. I have a little sister. She's 2 years younger than me. Her and I were always pretty close growing up.
Just you two?
Just us two. Yeah.
Oh, so you're kind of in a role model position.
Yeah. She's definitely turned out a lot better than I have.
Modest,
so
modest.
No, she has. She's got a good head on her shoulders. Yeah, I just kind of just didn't really hang out too much at home. I wish I had found sports earlier, like maybe, had I found MMA at like 15, 16,
Were you a fat
that
kid?
would have been. No, I was like a regular kid. I was pretty skinny actually. Yeah.
Dave, this is like you're scaring me even more. It makes it like you kind of build up that animal to release on fight night, and I think too many people release steam before.
Yeah,
could be turned to ice cream, turned to cake,
yeah.
turned to vices that aren't going to help your fight. Is it fair to say that you tried to like bottleneck it towards fight night and just like this is where I can just fully express myself?
I think there's a part of it there, like when especially in fight camp, it's like, taking away the
I'm sure your coworkers would be like, if they saw one of your scraps, like a Max Holloway, Ricardo Lamas, they'd be like, that's the same guy? That's the same guy?
Yeah, I think it's good to, flip the switch, in there. But yeah, I like in the fight camp is when I'm like, all right, I'm going to remove distractions. I'm not going to be,
Like what?
Even something simple like just black coffee, it's like no creamer in your coffee. You take away the little things. Obviously, that's like for cutting.
You're
some
the first
weight.
one to do the black coffee.
Yeah,
Respect.
Yeah, you learn to like it eventually.
Respect.
Just the little things to make sure, like, all right, the weight's on point. I'm not going out. I'm not hanging out on the weekends when I need to wake up, for Saturday sparring or whatever it is. Maybe saying no to some obligations or distractions. And just treating it like it's a serious thing because this guy is coming to hurt me on February 1st.
And they're not fighting for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoever that distraction is. I just heard, was literally listening last night as I'm playing video games at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Doing exactly what I'll lock it in eventually.
No,
but
you're good.
I'm listening to Timothy Chalamet, the Dune actor, and Willy Wonka actor.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
He was on. He's a New York guy.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
I didn't know that. I was. I don't know. I've never really listened. I feel like actors are so guarded.
Yeah.
But they're weird. But they try to like Iron Man has to be Iron Man, or the Dune prophecy has to be the Dune prophecy guy, and it's like, dude. I think Theo Vaughn. It was a Theo Vaughn podcast.
Yeah.
He does a great job at no pun intended, letting people let their hair down eventually. Because Theo Vaughn's so, and I not that I steal the approach, but I kind of respect the approach, and just try to just relax. And as you can see, I'm thinking on the fly. There's no
you don't got a script.
Definitely not scripted, folks. In case you were fooled, but something that the actor said that caught my attention. He goes, when I have to do a lot of tour dates, when I have to be busy and very time is stretched, he goes, I protect my energy from people.
Yeah.
And it's like, that hit me. And it's almost like whenever I hear something twice or three times, I'm like, maybe I should start to use that. And it's like, dude, for you to, how old are you?
27.
27. For you to be able to know that I have to protect my energy, and as nice as you are, it seems like you can lay down people easy unless you're a complete asshole and text her and you're like, nah, fuck off, bro. No. Were you always like that, to understand that whether it's a test, I'm giving an example like maybe 10 years ago, or whether it's a fight, that you knew that you could give a piece of your away if you're not completely focused on the task at hand? When did that, is that just, you
I think that came with fighting and learning how to be, how to compete and things of that nature. I think didn't really have that growing up, and I was almost like welcoming to distractions growing up, because it was easy to just get lost.
I think a lot of people are.
Yeah, and like as a teenager, that's all I would do, is just, all right, I'm going to play video games. I'm going to go hang out with these people. I'm going to go hang out with these people. Even in college too, any excuse to just not be home. Just let me just go and do something. And then as you get older and you realize, all right, this is what I want out of life and this is what I want for myself, you have to realize that those things are going to prevent you from even being able to take that first step, I feel like. It's not going to guarantee you that you're going to get what you want, but it's going to prevent you for sure from getting going.
If you could bottle that and like slap some of these teenagers, because that's why I don't think there's some coincidence where like the boxing dads, or like the Southern dad who like wants their kid to play college football, or like I said, the boxing dad who the kid's in the gym at like 7 years old. That's great advice, because I think and especially now, man, there are so many distractions.
Yeah, man.
Where do you catch yourself at the screen time where you're like, this is enough, I've gone down the rabbit hole, okay, I've plugged in, I got my dopamine. Mr. Regimented, what do you do to fall into deep sleep? Like, what strategies? Because sleep is, I think, completely underrated.
It's important.
Kobe said, I've spent millions of dollars on recovery, and I just found out just sleep.
Yeah.
Sleep is the most.
Literally. It is. It's so important.
Kobe.
That is something that I sometimes fall short on, the proper sleep routine and making sure I get enough. But I think just like having a routine is good before you go to bed. So it like puts your mind, your body like knows that it's time to sleep. But that's something I actually am working on. It's a work in progress at the moment.
For me, the landscape button, or to lock your phone sideways, I find that it's like, all right, if you want to stay up on your phone, you can't hit that landscape button, because it's too easy. If you hit it, then you can literally be on your phone on sideways. I'm like, if I want to read something, I'll have to prop my neck up, and I kind of,
okay. Yeah, that's good.
I think this is all new.
Yeah.
Like the whole podcasting came out of nowhere, and it's like phones are just, we're getting closer and closer to it being a part of us. Would you ever, you're 50 years old, and Dana White's like, Dave, we need you back. That would mean like Dana White's like 90, I guess. And you're like, oh, my right arm's kind of sore. Would you ever let them put like a cyborg limb on you?
Yeah, man, that's a tough question.
And you face another cyborg limb guy, but it means you get back in there. Or are you comfortable with your aches and pains and just ride off into the sunset? Like what would it take to allow technology? Because that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Like somebody's like, oh, I can't get a girl. Oh, here's a robot wife. Oh, I can't throw a right hand. Here's a robot arm. Like it will fill your desire almost, that AI. So would you ever allow AI into you, like a what is it, the Neuralink?
Neuralink or something
yes,
like
I almost
that?
said neurochip.
No, I think I got enough problems with my regular brain and my regular body. I don't need something malfunctioning.
What if somebody said they can suppress any thoughts of, like, negative thoughts? And they said, all we have to do is inject this little chip in your ear.
No.
Any doubt thoughts?
No, I wouldn't do it. No.
Ever.
I'd rather figure it out on my own than have a chip
Respect.
do it. Yeah.
Respect. What's your ideal vacation?
Ideal vacation. Oh man.
You could go 7-day or 30-day, whatever you want.
30's a long time. I think I would do 7.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhere with a beach. Yeah.
Okay,
That's
nature guy?
That's all I need. Yeah, nature's good too.
Not a
yeah.
mountain. You don't like the cold vacations? Like, you're not going to do
that I would think less of as a vacation and more as like a hiking or something activity. Like camp. I love camping. I've been camping a few times and that's pretty fun. But I wouldn't view it as a vacation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, 125.
Yeah, man.
Holy smokes, man. You're going to be massive for flyweight. Is that the goal? To not be bullied? Don't bully him, son. Like, you're gonna be the bully.
There's some big 25ers, man. You know Edwin at Law. He's a 25er.
His shoulders. He's got broad
he's jacked, man.
shoulders.
He's jacked.
Yes.
He's a jacked dude. So yeah, there's plenty of big 25ers. I feel like I'm probably more on the smaller side, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah. Just more, it's also the height and everything. And
we did a little rolling. I got a couple of pounds on you, and you're strong, man.
Thanks, bro. Thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah. I think it's just a natural progression of I started it, I didn't cut much weight for the first kickboxing fight, then I cut a little more. And then just like, all right, 25 is where I need to be. So, yeah.
Are you leaning on anybody specifically, coaches or yourself, to make the weight easily?
Obviously dieting down and making sure that's dialed in. And usually like a few days before or the week of the, fight week, whoever's fighting will usually like try to do drills together, try to sweat off something. And then last day, the day of the weigh-ins is when, maybe as a team we'll all hit the sauna or whatever together.
Yeah, that's right.
Sweat off some pounds. Yeah.
February 1st, combat at the Space.
Yeah.
Lou Neglia's, and I believe Ray Longo was affiliated, a part of the promotion.
I think so, yeah.
Man, that's pretty fun though, right?
Yeah,
How many guys? It's Donnie, Czech, you, Tommy.
Greg.
Oh, Greg Tile,
Greg's on there
right?
too,
And
yeah.
he's doing a massive cut, no?
Oh, yeah.
35?
45, I think.
You sure?
I think so. I think he's a 45er.
Did I misread that? Dude, because I think he's going to 35.
No, I think Greg's a 45. I mean, if he's going to 35, that's a big cut, but I'm sure he can do it still.
Hold on. We got
I think he's a 45er.
I mean, I agree with that, but does he agree with us? Let's see. Gregory. And Greg, great boxing. Does he have a wrestling background?
Yeah. Greg's a pretty good wrestler.
You're right. I'm wrong. What do I know?
Good,
45.
good. All good.
Perfect. Good job, Greg. Dominance.
Yes, Greg Sturdy Tile.
Let's
Sturdy.
Greg Cement Tile. I don't know. I can't even.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
But the Sturdy would go
Sturdy
well.
stuck, yeah.
I think I made him smile. Like, I think I'm one of the made him smile maybe one of the 10 times that he's ever smiled in his life.
Greg smiles at himself, man. He makes himself smile.
I'm proud of that. Yeah, trying to get Czech in here. Czech is the man. He's dangerous, and you don't want to be sign the contract against him, but it's so nice, so sweet.
Oh, yeah, very cordial. Always got words of encouragement. Always pleasant.
So, talk to me about your opponent.
Yeah, his name is Alex Smith. I think he fights out of
What's
Team
his social?
Rhino. We'll talk about that after.
Okay, fair enough.
No, he's got a very good grappling game. He's a good jiu-jitsu player. I think he's done a few pro grappling matches.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But in terms of so far I've seen, the fights he's had. He's gritty. He's a tough kid. But I think that in terms of my skill set, matching up against his, I'm pretty confident that it's going to be a good fight.
How do you go into prediction mindset? Do you say, I'll go where the fight goes? Or do you I want to dominate, finish round one?
Yeah, I think I just want to go in there and just impose my will, impose my game.
Let's go.
Be smart, obviously, about what he can do, but also negate that by doing what I want to do in the fight. I don't need to worry about, what if he does this or what if he does that.
Right.
I'm gonna do this.
Then you'll be slow.
And in spite of whatever's going on.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you fought at the Space before?
Yeah, twice. Yeah,
okay.
Twice last year.
It's a nice atmosphere.
It is. It's a nice venue.
Yeah. And it's you ever watch college basketball?
Occasionally.
Highlights.
Maybe on TV, yeah.
I don't think I've watched the full game in years, but at Duke, they put the fans so close to the court to kind of give a home court advantage.
Gotcha.
And the space, and sometimes at Stereo Garden, they have that feel of there's nothing like local fights.
Yeah, man.
It's like UFC fights. I've heard guys Adesanya, and then he loses, and whatever.
Right.
Local fights, it's family.
Oh yeah, dude.
It's friends.
Oh, you got people screaming at the top of their lungs for you, man.
The sponsors aren't just some guy in a suit across the country. The sponsor is probably at the fight.
Right.
Probably somebody they've been on the mats with who's
yeah, or somebody's barber, or somebody's the deli, down the block, yeah.
Shout out to your barber. He did a great job, by the way.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
I was I was going to ask where, but I assume it's in Nassau.
Yeah, it's actually in Queens. It's deeper
even further. But he did a great job. Give him an extra tip. But the feel of the fights at the Space, even the Garden, it was you could feel the energy of a Beethoven or Donnie's group of people, but it still seemed a little distant.
I got you.
The Space.
Yeah, everybody's just there, yeah.
How does it feel when you step in? And you've done both, the Garden Theater and the Space. How does the energy feel when you step in there?
It feels great, man. Yeah. You can hear a familiar voice, if it's not or if somebody's got a loud voice, you can hear, I can hear my buddy screaming for me. It's like,
do you acknowledge? Do you just nod your head?
Well, it's like you don't know exactly where they are. Also, you're kind of locked into the walkout, and they're just getting ready to fight the guy.
I don't know. Yeah. Just tell me. Walk me through. Okay, then we could end on this. Then take me through fight day.
Okay.
What's gonna happen on February 1st? You wake up. Start with that.
Yeah, wake up. Have maybe a light breakfast, head to the gym and do a little shakeout. We do the morning shakeout with whoever's around. Maybe hit pads, maybe move around, whatever, just to get a little sweat going. It kind of helps with, I guess, the bloat after the weight cut too. You kind of you feel a little better after that morning shakeout, I feel like. And then after that, it's just eat, whatever I normally eat. Maybe.
Everything. Give me every detail.
Yeah, it's honestly depends on the day. It'll probably be some kind of protein, a little bit of carbs, some veggies, whatever I would eat on a sparring day or a regular day throughout the fight camp. Nothing too crazy, too greasy or anything like that. Just simple, good solid whole foods. And then just chill until it's time to get to the venue.
What time? How much before
I guess a couple hours before the fight's supposed to start, or before they tell us to get there. Get there at that time. Chill out, maybe listen to some music. Stay present, but also stay focused on the goal. I want to go in there. I want to get the job done.
And fight nights, you talk about distracting, and I mentioned protecting the energy.
Yeah.
Everybody wants a piece of you.
It's true. Yeah. And sometimes I'll even just put my phone on Do Not Disturb, but in case somebody's asking me some stupid question about tickets, and I already get, we handled the ticket stuff the week before.
I didn't even think about that aspect. Because it's local. It's even more yo.
Right. I mean, it's not a big deal. I just brush it off. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'll deal with that later. And then just get the hands wrapped, stay focused, stay locked in, and then.
Are you a headphone guy?
Yeah, get the AirPods.
Okay.
Pop them in, listen to some music, something that I feel either is hyping me up or keeping me level.
Is there something you have to do in the back room to know it's time?
Not really. No, I mean it's just something to just keep the same flow going.
Okay.
And then once the hands are wrapped, warm up, hit pads, and then just go out there and do the damn thing.
All right, and then that walk is pretty cool because you are walking through like the theater.
Yeah.
You're allowed to pick your song?
I think no, not for this promotion.
Okay.
Unless it's like a title fight or something.
Do you even then just ignore the song and just look?
Yeah,
Do you
I
try
mean,
to feel the canvas or feel the music, the sounds, and then you feel the metal stairs as you, like how do you keep it from, oh my God, what am I doing?
Right. Yeah. I think it's more just accepting the situation for what it is. It's like my body's excited. I know I'm about to fight somebody. Like this, like let me take it all in, but also let me stay focused on what I need to do. So it's like, all right, I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna do my thing.
Does the distance feel different when the ref says go, and it's like you feel faster, or is it like what's the speed like?
Oh yeah, I mean it's fight speed, so it's 110%.
Can you see, like with the garden background being so distant in compared to the space?
Yeah.
Was your depth perception? Was it? Because I always thought about like a basketball.
Yeah.
Shooting a basketball in an arena might feel weirder than shooting against a garage, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. I couldn't tell you if it was different or not. It was a ring and not a cage, so maybe that kind of affected some things like visually, but yeah, it felt about the same,
And you can just look in your opponent like, wow,
Yeah.
like no problem. Wow.
Yeah, I think it was yeah. I guess when you're in that mindset of just like, all right, I'm gonna fight this guy,
Mm-hmm.
you're locked into doing what you got to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like I'd be doing cartwheels. Like, no, the opponent. It's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for you.
Thank you, man.
Didn't want to bring up what you have planned, but I know you got major plans, and I'm confident you will achieve that because of your workmanlike style and the DNA that's woven in, that hard work. Can't teach that, man. You
Yeah,
can't teach
appreciate
that.
that.
And it's
Thank
like some kids, there's talent, but there's not the work ethic. I'm sure you've seen talent. People come into the gym, they're like, oh my God, is this guy Yair Rodriguez? And then all of a sudden they're no longer Yair Rodriguez. They're Carlos Rodriguez or something. Like you got that heart.
Appreciate it.
That's what can't show up on. That's what the robots will never win, because you got that heart, man. That's the best way to say it. I couldn't even, it took me a while to get there. You got that heart. More than the work ethic. You're into it. So Dave, I appreciate you for coming through. This is not a drop in the bucket to get over here. I appreciate, brother. Very excited for February 1st. I will be in the building. God willing, inshallah, I know the kids say. But I love you, brother. I respect you, man. And I can't wait to see you perform.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Handshake on camera. Time to gossip off camera. I'm just kidding, guys. Where do we follow you?
On Instagram, d.misir. That's MISIR.
I mean, I'm like, you better spell it. You spelled freaking Nas's country. And I'm sure it's right. One more time.
That's D as in David, dot M as in Mary, ISIR.
We got merch, man. All the kids these days got merch.
Nah, man. Maybe for later on down the line. Like I said, I don't know if I'm qualified for all that stuff yet, but eventually we'll do it.
I'm gonna make you a merch line that says I don't have merch. You never know.
Hey, that works.
It might sell. But yeah, shout outs to Longo team, Sarah
Always,
team.
Yep.
Kames Hall Concord, February 1st. Let's go, folks. I'm out. Peace.
Sure.